Hi there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Max. I'm one of the mates. I just want to share with you this morning a morning thought. The weather at the moment is lovely. We're really fortunate. I don't know if you can see outside. But this reminded me of an analogy I heard a couple of years ago. They compared God to the sun and basically said that sometimes the weather is fantastic. There are blue skies and you can see the sun and everything's really good. And then there are other times where the clouds roll in, and suddenly you can't quite see the sun, and the weather kind of takes a turn for the worse. And this may represent times of hardship, which I'm sure many people are going through right now at the moment. Um, and they say at that kind of time, you can't you can't quite see the sun. It's kind of blocked by the clouds. It doesn't mean you can't feel its effects. It's still doing its job. You can still see outside because of the light that's radiated from it, and it is still there. But you just can't see it directly, and that I think is a really good representation of sometimes on our kind of journey of faith, we go through periods where you might feel a little more disconnected from God. It's kind of harder to find that connection to see Him, as it were. Um, as opposed to other times in life where you're at the peak and you really feel connected with God than with Christianity. But it doesn't mean at those times that God isn't there, and it doesn't mean that He's still that He's not doing what He always does, which is kind of radiating the light, showing the way. It just means that kind of it can be harder to acknowledge that and to recognise that. And this reminded me of a really good poem. I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, have heard of it. It's called, I think, Footprints in the Sand. And it's basically a representation of someone's life in footprints as they're walking through their life with God. So there's two sets of footprints, but they look back on it and they spot at the hardest times in their life, there's only one footprint. And so they turn to God and they're all angry and they say, why at the hardest points of my life did you abandon me? And God turns to them and says, I didn't abandon you. At those stages in your life, I was actually carrying you. So the footprints belong to God. And to finish this off, I just wanted to read a Bible verse. It's Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. It says, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. God is always there, and He's always radiating His love.